Hello and good evening. This is part two of my four-part video series where I am sharing my thoughts on the National Hockey League's new reverse retro jersey program, which has given all 31 of the NHL's franchises a new fourth jersey, or a new alternate design where it takes an old design and it changes it up. So reverse retro is basically teams inverting things around or changing designs a little bit, and it's basically retro with a twist. So in my last video, I covered the Pacific Division, and in my last video, I said that the Kings reverse retro was my favorite out of the division. I don't know, I'm kind of leaning towards the Sharks now a little bit. I mean, I think that gray jersey is actually really well done, but I don't know. I think the Kings still have my favorite reverse retro. I love how they've brought back the foreign blue and gold. Now, my favorite Kings jerseys are the Gretzky-era jerseys in black, white, and silver, but that foreign blue and gold reverse retro, it's pretty good. I like it. I'm a fan. But for this video today, well, the second video I'm filming today, but part two of this series, I'm actually covering the Metropolitan Division this time around. So I'm going to the Eastern Conference. I'm going to cover the Metropolitan Division. So without further ado, folks, I'll share my thoughts on each Metropolitan Division team's reverse retro jersey. And let's start with one of the biggest surprises in the entire reverse retro program, the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, not only have they decided to go and do a gray jersey, but they've actually done a Hartford Whalers reverse retro jersey, which does not surprise me. I mean, I gotta be honest, I was actually hoping for a reverse retro Hurricanes jersey, but money talks, and I think the Carolina Hurricanes, from a business standpoint, were smart to do a reverse retro Whalers jersey because they're going to do way better with jersey sales with this than a reverse retro of any of the Hurricanes jerseys. But anyway, I do think that for using gray, this design actually does not look bad. I like that they put Pucky the Whale back on the shoulders this time around. Where with the green Whalers throwback that we've seen over the past couple of seasons, Carolina has not put Pucky the Whale on the shoulders of that throwback, which personally, I have had zero problem with that. It actually looks great without him on the shoulders, to be honest. But this time around, I do think that was a nice touch from Carolina to put Pucky the Whale back on the shoulders of this reverse retro jersey. So the Kelly green and royal blue look pretty good on it. I gotta be honest, I was actually hoping for either a white or a gray or even a red reverse retro of the Hurricanes' very first black jersey in franchise history, the Reebok era alternate jersey. I was hoping for a reverse retro of that. I think that would have looked really cool. But as I say that though, you know, a gray reverse retro of the old Hartford Whalers white jersey, in my opinion, it actually doesn't look bad. And hey, it's a Whalers jersey in some capacity, you know. You can't go wrong with a Whalers jersey, and it's been nice to see it as a special throwback over the past couple of seasons. But I do have to say this, though. I mean, whoever thought that in 2020 we'd see a new Hartford Whalers jersey of some sort? I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I must say, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it looked better in white, but if it was white, it wouldn't be retro with a twist, or it wouldn't fit the reverse retro program now, would it? So, staying in the Metropolitan Division, the next team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know, I find it weird seeing the Blue Jackets in a red jersey. But you know, does it look bad? No. Do I think it's great? No. It's okay. It's half decent. I actually think it might have been better if this part here was navy blue instead of white, but looks all right. Seeing the Blue Jackets bring back their original logo, I must say, their current logo is much better. But at the same time, the Blue Jackets first joined the NHL 20 years ago, so it's a good time for them to bring out their original logo as a bit of a throwback. I mean, they picked a good timing for it, but I have to be honest. I think this design's okay, but you know what I think Columbus should have done? A beige flip of their third jersey. I think that would have been 100 times better than this. You know, I know the Blue Jackets haven't had a whole hell of a lot of stuff a lot of material to work with for reverse retro. And doing a red design is completely different. And red is something that the Blue Jackets have never done. I mean, it kind of makes sense because, well, they are the Blue Jackets, eh? But seeing them in a red jersey is bizarre. I mean, I don't think the design is terrible. It's not my favorite. But I still think by far the best choice would have either been a reverse of the Cannon third jersey with either that lighter shade of blue, or what I would have liked to have seen is a beige flip of their current third jersey. Now, I think that would have been nice. I mean, I know it wouldn't really be reverse retro, but if they used the pre-Adidas Reebok era number and lettering font, they could say it's a reverse retro to 2010 when they debuted the Cannon jersey. Just saying, I still think that would have been far nicer than this. I think this is okay. It's half decent, but to me, it's kind of weird seeing the Blue Jackets in a red jersey, but, you know, I tip my hat to them for at least doing something a little more unique, especially with this program. Taking old designs and putting new, fresh spins on them. So that's not going to apply to this video. This will also not apply to this video. So staying in the Metropolitan Division, the next jersey to cover is the New Jersey Devils. And I don't know about you viewers out there, but the crest kind of looks like it's in the wrong spot in this photo. Hopefully the Devils fix that by the time we see it on the ice. I don't know. It's looking like it's a little too low on the jersey. That's kind of weird, but I have to be honest. I love the idea of the Devils using the special opportunity to bring out a green jersey. Who would have thought the Devils would do a green jersey? That is weird and cool at the same time, but I don't like that they did a green reverse retro of their original red jersey. It should have been the original white jersey that they reversed. And I'm going to pull out a concept that I featured in my reverse retro, my first reverse retro jersey I did in my last series, where it was a three-parter where the first video I shared my thoughts on the program so far, and this was before it was unveiled, but I want to once again recognize this concept from a viewer of mine, Windy City Hockey, and I totally agree with him. I actually think the red collar with white piping is a bit better in this case, but I think Nick's concept here would have been a better look than what the Devils actually went with. And I have to confess, doing this design, doing the original red jersey from the 80s in reverse retro instead of the white one, in my opinion, was a mistake. It's not as good. You know, I didn't think the Devils would ever do a green jersey, but, you know, I like the color. I think the red on the green looks good. I just don't know if I'm a fan of the decision to do a reverse of that red jersey from the 80s. They should have done a green reverse retro of the original white jersey, which they actually have brought back as a heritage uniform in recent years. Now, moving on to the New York Islanders. And back to the Devils first. I like the idea of a green jersey. I just wish that the striping was from the white jersey from the 80s, not the red one. But overall, it's not bad. The Islanders really played it safe. This jersey is straight out of Lou Lamoriello's playbook, and most viewers are probably going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but I am so impressed with the Islanders keeping it simple. Yes, it's just their home jersey, but in navy blue. But you know what? It looks great. And I tip my hat to Lou Lamoriello for saying no to the Islanders doing something with the Gorton's Fishermen. That jersey was short-lived. And it was short-lived for a reason. It was awful. I mean, yeah, they could have had some more fun with this program, and Lou could have lightened up and said, okay, we're going to do a teal fisherman jersey and we're going to have fun with the fans. Yeah, they could have. But as I said in my last video with the Wild Wing Reverse Retro, just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean that you should do it. And, you know, I tip my hat to the Islanders for taking their white jersey from the 80s, reversing it, but in navy blue. And truth is, I've pictured the idea of doing this design in my head for a while, but what I would have done is I would have taken that silhouette scribble of Long Island and slightly detailed it a bit more to have some high-rises and stuff in it, just to kind of update it a little bit. But I don't know about you viewers. I think most people are going to disagree with me, but I'm really impressed with the Islanders for only doing a navy blue version of their white jersey, or if their away jersey. But the other thing, notice that collar. Notice how it does not look like a thong. Notice how it doesn't have that ugly look like their home jersey has in terms of its collar. And also notice that there's no lace-up. Two things about this design that I really like is the collar and the lack of laces. The Adidas collars are bad enough. The Islanders' home jersey collar is an eyesore. It's not pretty. It looks like a G-string, and that's not a compliment. But yeah, I mean, I know this is probably one of the most boring reverse retros you'll see. But I think it looks good. Call me crazy. I think this is 100 times better than a reverse retro of the Gorton's Fishermen. You know, I still think the Ducks should have just taken their original Mighty Ducks jerseys and reversed those and worn a jade-colored reverse retro of the Mighty Ducks jerseys rather than a white Wild Wing. But yeah, I tip my hat to Lou Lamoriello for keeping it simple and not doing something wild like a teal fisherman. I mean, I guess for some of my long-time viewers, you could even argue that I'm a bit of a reverse retro of Lou Lamoriello. I'm not Lou Lamoriello. I mean, you know, I do like it when teams do sometimes experiment a little bit. It's fun. And if I were the president of the Islanders, or I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard Lou Lamoriello has supposedly over the years been against facial hair. I wouldn't care about stuff like that, but that's me. So I'm very traditionalist in my views with jerseys a lot of times, not always. But, you know, as a fan of that Islanders reverse retro, I guess you could even argue I'm a reverse retro of Lou Lamoriello. Anyway, I'm going to move on. This model and his facial expression here in this shot says it all. His facial expression here is how I feel about the Rangers Lady Liberty Reverse Retro. I just think to myself, I'm like, oh, New York. You know, first off, I think it's great that the Rangers have given their fans, the Lady Liberty again. I know there's a lot of people that have really wanted it to come back. For me personally, I'm not one of those people. I mean, I was hoping for either the Reebok era Navy 3rd jersey to come back. I think it's a beautiful sweater and uniform in my opinion. Well, jersey. Or I would have even liked to have seen the Rangers take their god-awful 2018 Winter Classic uniform, cleaned it up a bit, and gone with this little idea of mine as a full-time third jersey right here. And what I did was I took all that striping crap off the shoulders. I got rid of that stupid patch that every jersey had on the ice that kind of reminded me of an advertisement. And I put the waist striping all the way on the bottom. Now, would that not be a glorious third jersey, or even bringing back their third jersey from the end of the Reebok era, or what? But as I say that, I'm happy that the Rangers did bring back the Lady Liberty for their fans. But that striping on the sleeves, they took the Lady Liberty uniform and made it worse. It's the striping on the arms is so thin. New York, I almost wonder why they even bothered putting that striping there in the first place. You know, if the Rangers wanted to do the Lady Liberty uniform with some type of modern twist, and you know what? To hell with it. I'm going to pull up a picture of the Lady Liberty jersey from the 90s when it actually looked decent. And I'm going to show you what I would have done. Because I'm sorry, folks, this reverse retro 2020 edition of the Lady Liberty, and here's another back shot of it. I'm sorry, it is so boring. It is plain and it's just, why? You know, all they had to do was either reverse the red on the original, which is this here, with the white, or, you know what I would have done? I would have brought everything about this design back, but because it's retro with a twist, I would have snuck a little bit of red on the bottom of the jersey with a little thin white stripe on top of that, and I think that would have been the cherry on the cake. That's all New York needed to do for a reverse retro. And instead, they've brought back the Lady Liberty, but they've made it worse. The 2020 edition of the Lady Liberty is worse. I think it's great that the Rangers have brought it back for their fans that love that uniform. But this was not the way to do it. Actually, if they would have listened to me, what I just said about the Lady Liberty jersey from the late 90s and the 2000s, it actually would have taken that design and made a twist that actually, in my biased opinion, would have improved on it. But New York, what the hell were you guys thinking? This logo was a good move. The navy blue was cool. But these thin stripes on the sleeves or on the arms? No! What the hell? I'm so disappointed. The Islanders navy blue reverse retro is better than this. Sorry, that's my opinion. At least the Islanders did not take some bad idea and bring out a new take on a bad old idea that was only short-lived for 2 seasons because it was awful. And unlike the Rangers, they did not take a design that so many people all over the hockey world loved and made it worse the second time around. Congratulations, Rangers. You took a beloved fan favorite and made it worse. I'm so disappointed because this was the perfect opportunity to bring back the Lady Liberty, which they did do, but they made it worse. Darn it, New York. Ay. Okay, moving on to the Philadelphia Flyers. The black and the white from the 80s and 90s uniforms were flipped around, as you can tell. And I don't like it. Call me crazy. Actually, maybe when I see it on the ice as an entire uniform, I might have a change of heart on that. I'm hoping. Because even though I think the Broad Street Bully uniforms that the Flyers went back to full-time about a decade ago are the best uniforms they've ever had, and I've been ecstatic they've gone back to them ever since, I do agree with people that the 80s Orange Flyers jerseys were not bad. They were definitely not terrible. I do wish that the Flyers could have just brought that back instead of this, but it wouldn't be reverse retro if they did. And that's the program that we've got. So this uniform's okay, but I have to be honest. I would have much preferred seeing a black flip of their home and away jerseys. I think that would have looked really, really good. But I'm actually going to go and take a step outside of the box here for these videos, and I want to show you viewers my idea. I don't know, I just, they talk about retro with a twist. I don't know. I think the Flyers could have done something really cool. And I'm going to take a moment here to share it in this video because why not? If I could ever find it between now and Christmas, that would be nice. Just bear with me for a moment, folks. I'm sorry for the delay, but I have to show this to you guys. I really, I feel something like this would have been way cooler. I mean, they could have taken their Stadium Series uniform that was a goddamned train wreck from last year and done something like this. But the one idea that I have for the Flyers, something that I think could have looked really cool, could have been their original uniforms, their home and away jerseys, but redone in dark charcoal gray with black and orange. Something like this. I mean, imagine some type of reverse retro like that. I mean, I don't know. I think something like that instead of this would have been really cool. But is this the worst uniform out of the reverse retros? Absolutely not. Is it my favorite? Not at all. But I don't know. I think the Flyers could have done better. But I don't know. It's all right. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is actually one of my favorite reverse retros. The only thing that pissed me off about this jersey was the decision to have the triangle-less skating penguin on the shoulders. They should have either at least A, put their main crest with the triangle on the shoulders, or B, respected the timeline that this jersey is based off of and actually put the corporate penguin logo on the shoulders, or as people more commonly call it, the Robo Penguin. So I really like this design in white. It looks good. It's one of my favorite reverse retro jerseys for sure. And as I said in a recent reverse retro jersey related video, the Penguins actually had this style as a prototype jersey they almost got to go with, that they wanted to go with in the early 1990s, but the National Hockey League did not allow the Penguins to do that because the Penguins in the 92-93 season, if they had their way, would have had 4 jerseys. They would have had the black flip of this. They would have had this design as well, except it would have said Penguins on the front in bright Pittsburgh gold lettering. They would have had the white jersey with the triangular shoulder yoke and the penguin on the front from that era, and a black flip of that jersey as well. So seeing a prototype design being brought back to life as a 4th jersey in 2020, I actually think not only does this look really good, but I think that's really cool that the Penguins have done this. I like it. Big fan. Moving on. Okay, these guys are from the Atlantic Division, so forget about that. Okay, finally, the Washington Capitals. Now, I have to be honest, the Screaming Eagle uniforms of the 1990s, I have never cared for. Now, seeing this jersey come back in the Capitals' color scheme of red and navy blue, actually, this is the best I've seen the Screaming Eagle. I'm not going to lie. The navy blue, the Capitals word mark on the front, I actually feel that they've taken the horrible, horrible decision the Capitals made in the 90s to go with royal blue, black and bronze. And by putting it into their red and navy blue color scheme, it's actually better. I'm not a fan of the captaincy patches being on the right side of the chest, but I don't know. I mean, this is definitely, I actually think that for a 90s design, the Capitals reverse retro is actually not bad. But one thing I would have fixed is I would have fixed the number font. There's the Capitals number font from the Screaming Eagle era uniforms. There were certain elements of the number font, like the 0 here. Why does it have that moon shape where the number, it's kind of weirdly shaped? Why isn't it just a perfectly rounded 0? Little things like that sometimes catch my eye for all the wrong reasons, but I don't know. The Capitals, Actually, another thing that could have been cool would have been a navy blue Screaming Eagle jersey, but I like the red though. I didn't think I was going to like this as much as I do, but this actually doesn't look bad. But I have to make a confession. I still want to see the Capitals do a Weagle jersey. But another thing though, this jersey and the new navy blue rumored third jersey that's coming in next season for the Capitals as well, I still think their red 80s retro jersey is far better than this and the navy blue third jersey that they're getting next season according to the rumors. But obviously that's a matter of personal taste. I know a lot of people don't care for the Capitals retro uniforms, which if you don't, you don't. I respect your opinion, but I don't know. The Screaming Eagle's not my favorite, but I have to confess, this is the best I've ever seen the Screaming Eagle look on a jersey. It looks good in red and navy blue, I'm not going to lie. Now, is it my favorite Capitals jersey? Absolutely not. But this is definitely the best Screaming Eagle themed jersey I've ever seen. That's for sure. Even though the royal blue one from the 90s with the black and bronze accenting was okay, I still think that all the Capitals should have ever done with the Screaming Eagle at all was had that royal blue jersey as a third jersey to the original jerseys, which they retired for the Screaming Eagle. Obviously a matter of personal opinion, of course. But anyways, folks, that's it for part 2 of this series. I will be back in my next video with part 3. Let me know how you felt about these uniforms and your thoughts on what I've said and your thoughts about the Metropolitan's Division's reverse retro jerseys. But now I'll pick a favorite. Pittsburgh's is really good. The Islanders one was really good. The Devils one was not bad. Call me crazy, but I think my favorite of the reverse retros in the Metropolitan Division is actually not the Hartford one. For myself, it has to be the Penguins one. I love how it was actually a prototype design that never got used, and they actually brought it back out of the grave for this program, which was cool. The Whalers one would have to be my second favorite because it's the Whalers. I mean, when you do a Whalers jersey is a Whalers jersey. So far in my lifetime, there's no such thing as a bad-looking Whalers jersey. And number 3, it has to be the Islanders navy blue one. I know most people will disagree with me, but I think that the Islanders did the right thing playing it safe. It looks great. But anyways, you guys, until my next video, as always, take care. And as usual, bye for now.